Hello, I'm Harvey Phillips. I'm sure many of us are troubled by the shooting at Newtown, Connecticut, and other massacres. I'd like to share some thoughts and questions I have about those shootings. My first thought relates to guns. Are they too easy to get? If the gun is registered, does that reduce the chance it will be used for crime or murder? Is a gun likely to be used if the shooter just seeks excitement but doesn't think about consequences? Another thought relates to entertainment. If I could watch the Roman gladiators, would I secretly want to see someone killed? How about boxing? Do I wait for that punch that KOs another boxer? Is there something about contact sports that triggers a desire to hurt my opponent? What about violent movies or video games? Do people become inured to violence? Do they visualize themselves as the shooter and divorce themselves from reality? As a kid, I once saw a Superman movie. On the walk home from the theater, I saw myself as Superman. When I reached home, I stood on the balcony of our second-story apartment. I thought I could leap to an adjacent balcony or to the ground. Something inside me said, "Don't." Yet I thought about it for a long time. What separated reality from that urge to jump? What happens when someone doesn't separate reality from imagination? What happens if something masks that healthy brain chemistry and suppresses controlled action? I know damn well that second or third Snickers bar can lead to pretty bizarre heights and headaches. Off the wall? Is that the term? And the time I tested scotch in Scotland, I don't even recall how I got back to the ship. Could I have done something violent and not even known about it? Guns are a big part of media news, but barely a hushed blip is given over to violent games. But drugs can also change healthy brain chemistry. I haven't heard anything about that from commercial media. But the relation between prescription drugs and violent acts is covered on non-commercial media. I'd like to share an audio clip I recorded from Progressive Radio Network on the Internet. This clip is part of a commentary by Dr. Gary Null.
We have collected 5,000 shootings, 66 different school shootings, all involved with psychiatric medication, like Prozac, for example. Examples of a few: Eric Harris, age 17, Zoloft and Luvox, and Dylan Klebold. Columbine shooting in Littleton. 12 students killed, 1 teacher, injured 23. Then they killed themselves. Klebold's medical records have never been made public. Jeff Weiss, age 16. He was taking 60 milligrams a day of Prozac, 3 times the average starting dose for adults, when he shot his grandfather's girlfriend, and many other students at Red Lake, Minnesota. He then shot himself. 10 dead, 12 wounded. Corey Badsgard, age 16, in Washington State, was on Paxil, which caused him to have hallucinations. I interviewed him extensively. He said that he woke up and couldn't remember a thing. He woke up and he was in the sheriff's office. He didn't know why he was there. He didn't know what he had done. He took a gun into class to kill people. 13-year-old Chris Fetters killed his favorite aunt while taking Prozac. 12-year-old Christopher Pittman murdered both his grandparents while taking Zoloft. 13-year-old Matthew Miller hung himself in his bedroom closet after taking Zoloft for 6 days. 15-year-old Gerard Victor stabbed his grandmother 61 times after 5 days on Paxil. 15-year-old Kip Kingle on Prozac and Ritalin shot his parents while they slept then went to school and opened fire, killing 2 classmates, injuring 22 others. And that was just a short time after taking Prozac. Luke Woodham, age 16, on Prozac, killed his mother and killed 2 students, wounded 6 others. We also have Pocatilla on Zoloft. Michael Carneal on Ritalin, 14-year-old, opened fire on students at a high school prayer meeting in West Kentucky, 3 killed. Young man in Huntsville, Alabama, was on Ritalin, went psychotic, chopping up his parents with an axe and also killing 1 sibling and almost murdering another. Andrew Golden, age 11, Ritalin, and Michael Johnson, 14, on Ritalin, shot 15 people, killing 4 students, 1 teacher. T.J. Solomon, age 15, on Ritalin, high school student in Conyers, Georgia, opened fire on and wounded 6 of his classmates. Rod Matthews, age 14, on Ritalin, beat a classmate to death with a bat. James Wilson, age 19, on multiple psychiatric drugs in Greenwood, South Carolina, took a .22 caliber revolver into an elementary school and killed 2 young girls, wounded 7 others. Elizabeth Bush, she was 13, on Paxil, went on a shooting spree in Pennsylvania. Jason Hoffman on Effexor and Celexa, school shooting in El Cajun, California. Gerald Victor, age 15, on Paxil. After 5 doses on Paxil, he stabbed his grandmother 61 times. Chris Shanahan, age 15, on Paxil and in Idaho, and went out and killed a woman. Jeff Franklin on Prozac and Ritalin in Huntsville, Alabama, killed his parents and came home from work using a sledgehammer, a hatchet, and a butcher knife and mechanic's file, then attacked his younger brothers and sister. Neil Furrow on Prozac, L.A. Jewish school, shooting reported to have been court-ordered to be on Prozac, along with several other medications. Kevin Ryder, age 14, while withdrawing from Prozac when he died from a gunshot wound to his head. Alex Kim, age 13, hung himself soon after being on Lexapro. Then his prescription was doubled. Diane Ruthlier was prescribed Wellbutrin for gallbladder problems. 6 days later, after suffering many adverse effects of drugs, she shot herself. We have 5,000 examples. Why aren't these being discussed? We now can say that the violence-linked antipsychotic drug known as Fanapt, F-A-N-A-P-T, was one of the drugs that Adam Lanza was using. Now, what does the package insert for the drug and the physician's desk reference say? It leads to hostility, aggression, mania, confused state, impulsive control disorder. And all those are side effects that could lead a person to what he did. I have to ask the question again. I've been asking each day. Even on the left media, even with some popular programs on the media, they're focusing on the easy question, gun control. They're not focusing upon the harder question. Why is it that every single mass killer has been using these drugs and we choose not to pay attention? That makes no sense.
And now, my final thought. With all due respect to the grieving families in Newtown, Connecticut, there are grieving families elsewhere in the world. There are parents in Pakistan, Iraq, and Afghanistan who look at the bloodied remains of their children. Hundreds of innocent children killed by our own American snipers and drones flown from far away that target schools. No apology, no words of sympathy to the parents of those enemy children. They are just the collateral damage of war.